Hi, I'm Will, and I'm here to give you my tutorial on how to play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. This is a game that I enjoy a whole lot. This is the game that all of my players play when they come over to my house. Both of our YouTube channels are run off of this system, and I get asked quite a bit, how do you play the game? So today I thought I'd do a little tutorial on how I see playing 5th edition and how I can teach other people to play the game that I enjoy so much. So I came up with a few different things that you can do to learn how to play 5th edition. One of the things that you can do is definitely look for Adventures League at your local gaming store, and you can talk to any of the DMs and other players there. They are great resources to reach out and sort of learn how to play the game. But if you like to go at it old school, don't worry, I've still got some tricks for you. So number one thing that I think is important for Dungeons & Dragons is to at least familiarize yourself with the rules or at least the content of the book. So each and every book comes with a table of contents at the front as well as an index at the back of the book. These things are handy should you have any questions about what your character can do. Does your barbarian rage end at a certain time? Does falling damage, how much damage does it take? These things can be quickly looked up in this book on a minute's notice with the index or the table of contents. So while you don't have to memorize every single thing in here, at least have an idea of where to look to find those things. Nothing slows down gameplay more than having to search for a rule or having to explain something to someone else that they don't quite understand. So if you can point to the reference and point to the rules, then you're more than likely to move past it really easily. Next thing I like to talk about is don't get frustrated if you forget something about your character or your character sheet. Everybody does that. It's not a big deal, and no one's really going to fault you if you forget to add your extra rage damage or if you forget that you had an extra spell slot or anything like that. Remember the most important thing, which is going to come at the end of this video. So, second most important thing when it comes to learning how to play Dungeons & Dragons is creating a character. Now, when I talk about creating a character, I'm not just talking about pen and paper, your stats and your abilities. I think of two different ways to potentially make a character. One of those ways is through the min-max sort of style of making your character. It's a very stat-based character. It's very oriented on how much damage you can do in combat, what you can do in combat, whether or not your spell save DCs are high enough, whether or not your attack bonuses are high enough. So it's all about how much minimum damage you can do versus how much maximum damage you can do. There are very many different ways of playing this game, and a lot of people enjoy a multitude of ways. So there's no really wrong way to play the game. Everyone's got their preferred method of playing the game. The second way of creating a character is actually coming up with a personality. Is he a crook? Is he a hero? Is he a good guy, bad guy? Is he really suave with the ladies? Is he really bad with the ladies? Is he socially awkward? The beautiful thing about Dungeons & Dragons is you could be anyone that you want to be. If you're not confident in real life, if you're not happy in real life, you can play and pretend to be someone that is those things in the world of Dungeons & Dragons. So when you create your character, you think of yourself in that character's mindset. You actually get to become an actor for 4 to 6 hours depending on your game. You take on your own role play of this character. You act out who they are, what motivates them. These two ways are kind of the ways to create a character. Now, you use the rules to help you kind of guide those personalities. If you're a rogue, you might be a sneaky rogue. If you're a barbarian, you just might be Kool-Aid man through doors all the time and always getting your party into trouble. If you're a really high intellect wizard, then you might be able to solve problems through, your use of your intellect. So two different styles of kind of creating a character, and you can definitely overlap the two of them. Min-max, really, really sneaky rogue, so that you have assassinate and sneak attack damage, but yet you're really suave and you can talk your way past the guards should you get caught trying to steal something. You have the rules to guide you should the DM ask you, hey, what does that special ability of yours do? So, hey, I'm a rogue and I'm a really sneaky guy and I want to do this. You familiarize yourself with the rules so that you can point to it and just be all like, well, this ability allows me to do this. With my cunning action, I can dash. It helps speed up game because, believe it or not, Dungeon Masters, we don't know everything. And there's a lot of information rolling around in our heads. So if you can help us out by pointing us back to the rules, and if you are familiar with the rules, you speed up your gameplay. You also know more about what you can do in the world of Dungeons & Dragons. All this book is sort of a guidelines of rules to your imagination. It lets you know what you can and cannot do. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't do anything that's not in this book. It definitely just means that these are guidelines to help you play the game. And the third and most important thing, in my opinion, about Dungeons & Dragons is to have fun. Remember, this is a game. Everyone here, everyone that plays this game, everyone that comes to the table is here to have a good time. Nobody wants to go home and be all like, well, that really was horrible and I don't ever want to attend that again. If you heard that about a movie, you would want to go see that movie. If you heard that about a song, you would want to listen to that song. If someone didn't recommend a book to you, well, you're not going to read that book. So when you come to these things, realize that you are socially interacting with other people. You are going to have to put up with other people's ideas. Not necessarily put up with other people's ideas, but definitely collaborate with other people and what they want to do with the game. The very many different play styles, the min-maxer versus the role player, can cause some tension. But if you just go at it with a mindset of, here I am to have fun. Do you remember having fun as a kid? You would use your imagination. You would pretend. That's what this game is. All this book is sort of a set of rules of what you pretend you're doing. It doesn't necessarily mean that you are stuck with this. Obviously, if you don't like something, feel free to talk to your other players, feel free to talk to your DMs about changing things about your character. If you think something's more fun, if you think or feel something is not enough fun, then definitely bring it up to everyone's attention. But those are the top 3 things that I think that you need to learn to be able to play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. Now, that's not just 5th edition in my opinion, that's any edition of Dungeons & Dragons. I've been doing this game for 20 years now, and I just really think that if you familiarize yourself with the rules, create a good character, however you create that character, and have fun, those 3 things will lead you to a very, very fun and successful Dungeons & Dragons experience.